I've always loved Superman. That red, yellow, and blue S was one of the first images I ever remembered as a small child. To me, it symbolized freedom, flight, strength, and the ability to do good for others. 2025 has once again brought me back to those memories in the late 80s, and the ideals of freedom, strength, and doing right for other people is stronger than ever. James Gunn's Superman has surprised me more than I thought it could. We have a brand new Clark Kent and actor David Corenswet. Corenswet is easily the highlight of the show, rocking the classic red trunks like a cool retro wrestler outfit, and pulling it all together with a cape sporting the full yellow S on the back, just like in the first time I saw Superman on the Ruby Spears cartoon. Corenswet plays Superman in a way that really hasn't been seen. We had glimpses of the ideal Superman persona in Christopher Reeve and Richard Donner's iconic portrayal, with Superman even rescuing a cat from out of a tree at one point. Classic. But Corenswet goes far as to try and reason with the bad guys in the middle of a giant tussle and getting back in the fray even after suffering multiple serious injuries. It also marked one of the few times I've seen Superman really get hurt in live action without the use of kryptonite or some sort of magic. With the rest of the cast, we have Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. She was a pretty pleasant surprise. She captures Lois's inner strength quite well, and her chemistry with Corenswet was one of the more grounded and believable parts of the whole film. Eddie Gathegi as Mr. Terrific was, yes, terrific. He encapsulates a great mixture of ego, cynicism, and heroics, all by looking damn cool doing it. He has one of the best action sequences in the entire movie, and is one of the best overall actors in the film, bringing the occasionally comic book-like dialogue, the authenticity it does need at times. Another highlight was Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner as Green Lantern. Everything from the haircut to the costume worked for him. His dialogue between the Justice Gang and Superman were some of the best in the film, and he was in more scenes than I thought he'd be. Hawkgirl, played by Isabel Merced, is a fun member of the cast to watch, but her character does little more than brood and stay silent in the scenes where she's not donning her Hawkgirl outfit. Her quips with the Justice League were enjoyable to witness. However, I think Merced is skilled enough that we'll hopefully see more from her character in the future. Preferably if the writing is actually good and she's more than a background prop. Lex Luthor's girlfriend and lovable socialite Eve Tessmacher is played by Sarah Sampaio. Sarah does a really great job. Without spoiling anything, I think she's one of the better characters in the film. Wendell Pierce as Perry White was fine when he was actually on the screen, but I felt like he was a bit more absent in this movie than I would have preferred. He's one of the greatest actors out there, and having him on screen for just a few minutes total felt like a waste of his talent. But it was nice to see him enjoying the role when he was there. Skylar Gisondo brings Jimmy Olsen to life as an ambitious reporter and an unassuming player. He was another one of my favorite characters in the film. Maria Gabrielle de Faraya as the engineer did much more than I initially thought she would. Typically they have smaller villains out there, that are pretty much out of commission within the first 30 minutes. And I don't know if the engineer was a very well-known villain. I know she was known, but not by the mass audience. It was surprising to see her stick it out through more runtime than I expected. And she actually is a rather significant threat to Superman. Rounding it out are Neville Howell and Pruitt Taylor Vince as Ma and Pa Kent, Martha and Jonathan. Both actors give really warm and nuanced performances as the adoptive parents to Superman, and both come off as real people. That was the most important part for me. Ma and Pa Kent are a very important part of Superman's character and his past. And last, but certainly not least, we have Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor. Lex has often been portrayed as a villainous man with pretty much just a big ego. His genius had been on display before, but to the point where you almost felt sympathetic towards him. Holt brings all this together in his Lex Luthor's narcissistic supervillain. Lex's use of technology with the sole purpose of taking down Superman is played finer than it's ever been. You understand why Lex is the way he is, and you can even see his reasoning behind his hatred for Superman. It's a well-seasoned vision of Lex that actually makes you really feel sorry for him on a fundamental level. Most of this is obviously not due to merely dialogue, but in the way Holt interprets what's actually behind it. While it can be gratingly annoying, as it likely would be in real life, Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor is one of Superman's best adversaries ever. Oh, but wait. Let's not forget about Krypto. Yes, he was an absolute highlight of the movie from the moment he's on screen. He actually worked, and I'm glad that he did. And yes, there is a special appearance by a certain other superhero character, and I can't wait to see more of them in the future. The cinematography is a highlight of the movie's visuals. Wow, every fight had me glued to the screen. After Zack Snyder's 2013 Man of Steel, I had doubts we'd be seeing action on that level again in the franchise anytime soon. But Henry Bram, the cinematographer, takes the action to interesting places in every fight, and just watching Superman fly through the air felt more intense than ever. The music was probably the weakest aspect of the film, and that's not really saying too much there. While it wasn't bad, it did rely heavily on reusing a rendition of John Williams' theme. While effective every time it's used, To me, no other tune from the score had a memorable impact after the film was finished. In short, I feel James Gunn got Superman right. It's one of the best portraits of the character that I've ever seen as a fan, and I'm looking forward to much more of him and Cornsweat as the character progresses and we officially kick off the DCU once again, or perhaps for the first time. And this wasn't a bad first pitch at all. I just want to see how they bring it all home with the future of the world established here in this Superman particularly, and see where they go from there. Also, stay after the credits. There's a couple scenes. 2. All right, guys. Well, that's pretty much it. Yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. I think it's definitely worth a see. Go out and check it out. I don't think you'll be that disappointed. All right, so until next time, this has been Prince J, signing out.